you fellow Minecraft lovers, this is Phoenix Arc. I'm going to bring you another kind of a tutorial video here. I saved our little first day map that we were working with before. So we're going to go over a few more things that I think are kind of overlooked in other tutorials. And today we're going to talk about farming. And we're going to talk about farming crops, farming trees, and farming animals. I can see I've added a few improvements to my little cave here. I have a chest, I have a door, and I dug out some more area. I dug deep down into the earth and I found some iron, which we're gonna need, so make sure you have some iron. And the sun is starting to come up, so we're gonna be able to go outside. We're gonna be able to do a little work, but first there's a few things we need. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is get some iron. Take your iron, put it in your furnace, put your logs in your furnace, smelt your iron, you're going to get iron ingots, okay? You're going to bring the ingots to the workbench, or the crafting table. Place them in this little kind of V formation, that's going to make a bucket. Okay, I've got 2 buckets here, you don't need 2, you can make 1. I just wanted 2 to speed up the process. Another thing you're going to need is some fence posts, so to make a fence post, you're going to place out 6 sticks like this, and that's going to give you 2 pieces of fence post. And remember, you can always right click to split the stack, or you can take the whole stack in your hand and right click just to place down 1 stick or 1 item. Okay, we're also going to need a hoe, and please don't laugh, please be mature about that. So to make a hoe, 2 sticks, 2 pieces of material, either wood, cobblestone, iron, whatever you're making it out of. We're going to use the hoe for some of our farming. Alright, and I think that's all we're going to need. So let's get on outside. Let's not waste any more daylight. And the sun's coming up over our beautiful snow world. Okay, so we're going to build a garden where we can grow some wheat and maybe some sugar cane if we find some later. I did try to look for some in the setup I did before this video. Couldn't find any. Alright, so we're going to need a large flat area. Don't make it too close to hills, because if it's too close to a hill, all kinds of animals and creepers and things can jump right over your fence and trample your crops or blow them up or whatever. So let's make it about 3 squares from the hill. That ought to be 1, 2, and place it on 3. That'll be pretty good. And just right click there, place down fence. And a fence that's placed will first turn into a pole, and then it will connect to other fences that you've placed, if there are other fences adjacent to it. And this is just going to be a small garden. Let's just do this really quick here. Okay, you're going to need a door. Unfortunately, there are not gates yet in Minecraft. Hopefully there will be soon. So, I didn't bring a door. I did forget something. Let's go get a door really quick. Okay, I have one in the work chest, but we'll make one just to show you, just in case you don't know how to make a door. Just 6 pieces of wood planks. That makes a wood door. You can also make iron doors, but they can't be opened by hand, so that's a whole nother bag of worms. And we're going to put our door down there. It looks a little tacky, but it'll do well, keeping creatures out and the like. Okay, next, let's just dig a little temporary pit, make it 2 by 2. We're going to take our buckets, we're going to go find a water source. Okay, so I knew there was some water over here from earlier. And find where there's a spring where the water's not flowing. Right click with your bucket to pick up some water. And we're going to right click and pick up some more water. So now we have 2 buckets of water. Okay, let's go back to our little 2 by 2 hole. We're going to make an infinite water source to work with here. So right click in one corner with your water, right click in the adjacent corner with your water. And this is an infinite spring now. I can right click, pick up the water, it refills itself. Right click again, I can keep doing that until the cows come home. Except I don't see any cows. Okay, let's build our garden. First thing we're going to need is a trench to fill with our infinite water. Let's dig up a trench here. Okay. And actually, let's dig this 3 blocks wide. I'll show you why in a minute. Because these other 2 blocks, we are going to fill. You know what? I'm going to dig up the whole thing really quick. And then I'll decide on the placement a little bit. Let's have this row. Let's keep dirt on this row. That's a good row for dirt, okay? And then you can take cobblestone or some other thing. Just don't use dirt. Anything that can have a torch placed on it. So don't use glass, don't use dirt. Because dirt in itself is fine, but dirt can turn into grass, and you'll see in a little bit we don't want grass in our garden. Alright, so here's going to be our garden. This is going to be our row of crops. This is going to be our water. Crops need water to grow. They also need sunlight or torchlight to grow. And they need one more thing, which is going to be tilled soil. So first let's fill some water in here. And it's pretty good. I like it to be even all the way around, so let's grab some more infinite water. Dump that in there, and dump that in there. Okay, now we got a full water trench. Alright. Next thing, we're going to take our hoe, and we're going to right-click on the ground. And that tills the soil and turns it into farm soil. Okay, so you can see the difference here. Now, because this is within 4 blocks of water, it's going to darken there. You see that's wet soil or moist soil. That's better for the crops. They'll grow quicker if the soil is moist. Also, if it doesn't get water, you risk the chance of it turning back into dirt. And another thing is, you don't want to walk on it, because if you walk on it, you destroy it. It turns back into dirt. So don't walk on it. You can use the shift key, which is your sneak or your duck key. That will allow you to walk on it without destroying it. Now we need some seeds. I happen to already have some, but you probably don't if you're just starting this garden. So what you need to do is you need to use your hoe and right click on some grass. And if we just keep doing it, eventually, maybe, if we're lucky, we're going to find some seeds. There we go. So that's how you get seeds. You right-click with your hoe on a grass tile. Okay. Now let's take our seeds, and we're going to right-click into the tilled dirt. This will eventually turn into wet dirt. It hasn't yet, but it will because the water source is close enough. So now our crops are growing. Now this is the optimal growing position for crops. This will make the crops grow the fastest. They're in a line. They're not in a box or any kind of strange configuration. The ones on the end will grow a little bit slower. But basically how it works is if crops are on wet soil, they will grow faster. And if crops have other crops adjacent to them that are also on wet soil, they will grow even faster. The only catch is they can only have crops on about 3 sides. Otherwise, they start getting choked and they will grow slower. So a line of crops makes good sense. It means the crops will grow very fast. We have wet soil, they'll grow very fast on that. You can see this crop already turned into a level 2 crop of wheat. So this is the maybe not the most efficient in terms of scale, but this is the quickest you will get crops to grow. Now there's one more thing we need. Torches. I want my crops to grow even during the night, so I don't have to wait a long time. So we're going to line them with torches. And this will give them the light they need to continue growing on through the night. We'll also keep any creatures from spawning in here. Let's put some over here just to be safe. You don't want a creeper spawning and blowing up your garden. You also, the reason we didn't put any grass in here, we took out all the grass because any neutral mob like a cow or a chicken, the only thing they need for spawning is grass and light. So if you would have left grass in here, you'd have all kinds of cows and chickens and sheep and pigs, and they'd trample your crops, and it would just be a bad thing in general. So that's not the prettiest garden, it's not the biggest garden, but it gets the point across. Now, the next thing you can grow is trees. We can make a tree orchard. what you're going to see happen is you're going to start chopping lots of wood. And when you completely chop down a tree, the leaves start degrading. You can see they're disappearing right now. And sometimes they will drop this little dude, and this is a sapling. A sapling will plant a whole nother tree in the ground. So off of just chopping this one tree, I could get potentially many more saplings and plant many more trees. And this is important because eventually I'm going to chop down all these trees in my conquest for gaining wood. And then I'm going to have to start running long distances to find trees, so I can just make a tree farm. And I did a little research. One of the best ways that it seems to be to make a tree farm is put a torch down, and then in a plus configuration, place a sapling to the north, west, east, and south of the torch. This way, the saplings have daylight if they're outside, or if it's nighttime, or they're in a dungeon or somewhere else, they will have light at night. And the torch being in the middle with only 4 saplings around it guarantees that as they start to grow, they won't block each other's light from the torch. So that's one of the ways to get trees to grow quicker. Trees do not require water. They only require, I believe, dirt or grass and a light source. And trees will randomly try to grow. I believe that it takes about a half an hour for a tree to grow. So if the tree's going to grow at nighttime, we don't want it to be stunted because there's no light. And it's starting to get dark, so let's do one last thing here. We're going to farm, so to speak, some animals. So let's dig a pit. How big the pit is depends on how big you would like it to be. But it needs to be at least 2 deep, so none of the animals can climb out. And then we're going to place torches in the pit. So this is going to do 2 things. First of all, a little sheep or goat, there's no goats in Minecraft, a little sheep or cow could wander in and get stuck, and then he'll be there in the morning for us to come and borrow his goods. Or the second thing that'll happen is, remember we said that creatures need light and grass to spawn. Well, if it's nighttime, there's lots of grass, there's not very much light. So if a little sheep or cow is looking for a place to spawn, he's going to find this hole very welcoming as soon as the grass regrows on the dirt that we chopped up. And you can see it's starting to. So in the morning, we should have some trees, hopefully. We should have some fully grown crops, and we should have some little critters in our hole that we can harvest. So hopefully this was informative for you guys. I will be making a follow-up tutorial that shows the results and also how to build some different types of defenses than you might be used to seeing. And I look forward to the next video.